Let's hope I can get through today's video because my voice has definitely seen better days. I'm kind of getting over a cold right now. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I know this is kind of sounding a little different, so I'm sorry. But today I'm finally going to be bringing you what I keep in my everyday makeup bin. So this little guy right here sits on a couple shelves that are above my vanity, and I bring it down every morning when I'm getting ready. I love it because it has all of these compartments and I'm able to fit a lot of products in here, but it's not so many that I'm overwhelmed with like choosing when I'm getting ready, so I can get ready pretty quickly. I keep a lot of my favorites in here as well as some new things that I've been trying out. So I'm going to go ahead and get into where I got this bin because I did get it at Bed Bath & Beyond. It was a little bit pricey. I want to say between $15 and $20, maybe even a little bit more, but I love it because it has all of these compartments. I can really keep my stuff organized, and since it's acrylic, it washes up super well. I've totally been debating on how I want to go about telling you guys about this, but I'm going to go ahead and start with face products. As you can probably see, hopefully I can clean this out and get it cleaned up to show you an emptied version just so you can get a feel for all of these little compartments. But on this side there are three, and this one being in the middle is a little bit bigger, which is why I love to keep my foundations in it. And then there are kind of two smaller ones toward the sides. There's this big one in the middle that I really keep my blushes and powders in. And then this side is super cool, and I find it awesome for all of my eye products because this is definitely broken down more than like the foundation side of things. It has four very small compartments where I feel like I can fit all of my miscellaneous stuff. It has one kind of long, thin section, which is perfect for mascara, and then just this little side section that I keep a few just small eyeshadows in that are kind of my everyday go-tos. So let me go ahead and pull out the foundations and we'll start with those. So I have three kind of face products and then two concealers, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the Maybelline Superstay Makeup in Sand Beige. This is my favorite, hands down, drugstore foundation. I almost said concealer, and I say that all the time here on this channel since finding it about like a year ago. This stuff matches me super well. Right now it's a little bit dark just because I'm super fair, but if I have just like my normal skin tone to like just a little bit of a tan or even more, this does really well on my skin tone. And I just love this. The coverage is fantastic. This is definitely full coverage. I don't need a concealer. It goes on super smooth and the staying power is phenomenal. Next up is my Jouer Matte Moisture Tint in Linen. I love this stuff. I got it from Birchbox with my points, so it was absolutely free. I remember Miss Glamorazzi talking about this a long time ago, and it was always in the back of my mind, so when I had points, I finally picked it up, and I love it. It's definitely a little more natural looking on the skin, but for like a tinted moisturizer product, it does have awesome coverage, awesome staying power, and I wear this all the time. Getting onto the foundation I've been wearing to death lately, and that is NARS Sheer Glow. I have to have this in my everyday makeup bin because it's totally my go-to for this time of year. I love it because the shade Mont Blanc is perfect on my skin tone right now, and also it's great for dry skin. I did have kind of an experience with that NARS Weightless Luminous Foundation or something like that. I have a whole first impression on it, but that was just bringing out my dry places way too much, and even though I liked the coverage and the staying power, it was just a little too much for my dry skin. So that's when I dug this back out, and I can't believe I ever put it away because I totally am in love with it, and this pump is awesome. I would highly suggest it if you plan on getting this foundation. You can just buy it separately, I think, at Sephora and stuff, but such great coverage and such a lightweight feel. I'm wearing it today. Lastly, our two concealers, and we're going to start with the Maybelline Master Conceal by Face Studio Camouflaging Concealer in Light. This has been a newer purchase because, as many of you may know, it's super new, and this is hands down my favorite drugstore concealer I have ever come across. I am very picky when it comes to concealers, and this one has totally blown me away. I love it because it's a very thin texture, almost like MAC Pro Longwear concealer in my opinion, and the coverage is still fantastic. I use this all over my face, under my eyes, and it does a great job. But my other longtime oldie but goodie is the Clinique Advanced Concealer in 01 Matte Light. I swear, when I started YouTube, this was my go-to. I used it in so many tutorials. I probably had it on my skin in every single video, but I've just been such a fan for this for so long, and it is kind of different. I always used to rave about it because the coverage was nice and it had a very nice powdery finish, but compared to like say something like this Master Conceal, it's on the thick side of things. So I don't know if everyone would love this, but I still keep it out because I love using it just because that coverage, guys, is out of this world. I just pulled out all of these products right here to show you in a second, but I wanted to tell you guys about this little section because I just reserve it for Q-tips. I always find myself needing them when I'm getting ready, and if I didn't have them in here, I'd have to be getting up and getting them. I love running them through my lower lashes for mascara after I put some on because it really helps declump them and kind of make that bottom mascara look a little bit more more natural. So yeah, I'm always reaching for those. But getting on to the 3 products that I pulled out of that other little section next to the foundations, it's kind of miscellaneous. I have my NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base in there because it's my favorite eyeshadow base, and I love the doe foot applicator that has. And then also I have 2 new products I've been trying out. You've probably seen these on Instagram if you follow me over there. But one is finally the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade, and I got mine in dark brown. And I've been wanting to try this for so long. I've been such a fan of the Brow Wiz for so long. I have it on my eyebrows today, and it's a little tricky to get used to, but I think the overall look when I don't apply too much, which was totally my mistake the first time I wore it, I really like the way it looks. And then the other thing I'm wearing today is another new thing, and this is from Pixi, and this is the Correction Concentrate and Brightening Peach. I don't know how many times I've heard Emily Eddington rave about this stuff, but this little pot was so much smaller than I expected when I bought it. But they do sell it at Target. It was very hit or miss with mine. I know I have kind of 2 around me, and one didn't have it and one did, so I don't know why that was, but I really love this. If you guys are familiar with the Bobbi Brown Salmon Concealer, like in that little compact, it's very comparable. I know I had that a while ago. I got it at a CCO, but this really reminds me of it, and it completely, I mean guys, it completely does away with like those dark circles. So I've been loving this. It is on the thicker side, but I'm sure I'm going to be putting like all of my thoughts on Instagram soon. Moving on to mascaras, I'm really going to quickly run through all of these because the majority of them you'll be seeing more of in a Lacey's Leads video coming soon. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Benefit Roller Lash. Why not? I've had this in my little bin ever since the video I did on this channel of the first impression thing, and that'll be linked down below if you want to see it, but I've really been liking this. I totally plan on keeping it, and I've been wearing it ever since that video. It can get a little bit clumpy, which is why I dug out my CoverGirl Clump Crusher Mascara. You'll be hearing more about this soon, but this is great to really declump mascaras. Then the other 2 you're going to be hearing about as well, and these are 2 of my favorite drugstore ones, the Maybelline Rocket Volume Express Mascara and also the Almay One Coat Triple Effect. Both of these are good for different reasons. This one volumizes super quickly in like 1 to 2 coats, and this one takes a little bit more building, but I love the brush. It has one side of longer bristles, one side of shorter bristles, so those are my 2 favorites too. And I almost always forget about this little guy because this is the Maybelline Lash Discovery Mini Brush Mascara, and I keep this in my everyday makeup bin, and I really find that it's a lifesaver because of this tiny little itty bitty brush. This is awesome for your bottom lashes, and if you like a very natural clump free look down there, you definitely need to go out and pick this up. I've had this one forever, and I just always find myself reaching for it if I like have time to get ready and like take my time. This is always a go-to for me. Quickly going through these 4 tiny little sections, I wanted to throw all of my felt tip liners in there because technically I keep these in my vanity drawer. I don't actually keep them in this bin, but they're still something that I use while getting ready every single day, so I wanted to share them with you. I have 2 drugstore, 2 high-end versions. The high-end versions are the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner and the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. Both of these I would highly recommend. But the other 2 awesome drugstore ones are the Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner and Serum. This is great. This is kind of my newest addition to all of these, and I love it because it's in the drugstore, it's readily available, and it's really black. It's what I have on today. And then also another favorite that's a little bit harder to find is the Jessie's Girl Liquid Eyeliner. I got this, I think, in Birchbox or Ipsy, and I know Cara Emily talks about it a lot, but I really do love it. I would only say go out and get the Physicians Formula one because you gotta order this Jessie's one online. Now in the second and third little square, I keep 2 products, so I always make sure to have a chapstick in here just because I love applying it when I'm getting ready. And this is the Blistex 5-Star Lip Protectant, and my friend Emily recommended this to me. This, guys, is probably one of the most cheap chapsticks you can buy, but it's so thick and so nice on the lips. I absolutely love it. And then in the other little compartment, I just keep the Clear Eyes Redness Relief. My eyes can tend to get a little bit red if I'm getting ready, so if I film or something, I always make sure to put a couple drops of these in my eyes. And then for that last little section, I keep some brow products. I always have to have my Anastasia Brow Wiz in Brunette. You guys know I love this. It's probably my all-time favorite brow product. And then I also have 2 other brow products. One is like the tint or like the gel kind of stuff from the drugstore. This is the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Brow Mascara, and I do like this. The brush is very unique. The only pet peeve I have about this stuff is that if I'm applying it, it can tend to cling to the very, very fine hairs like above my brow line, so it kind of looks like there's color where there's not supposed to be. So that's kind of annoying, but I always just break out my Q-tips for that. And then another brow product I've been really playing around with is this Pixi Natural Brow Duo. I got this because it's Judy Time mentioned it in one of her videos recently, but guys, I'm not very impressed. They kind of tried to do the thing like the Anastasia brow is. However, there's so much plastic on this part right here that it's very hard to see where this color is going. Yes, I love the formulation. It tends to be on like the harder side of a pencil, and I like it because I don't feel like it's overly waxy, but when I'm putting this on, I literally can't see where I'm putting the product just because all of that plastic gets in the way. I will say though that the gel is nice and I love the little brush on this, but I don't know. I don't think I'd recommend it to you guys. I feel like if you're going to pay, I think this was maybe $12 to $16. I mean, the Brow Wiz isn't even that more expensive, so I wouldn't really pick this up if I were you, but I'm still testing it out and giving it a try. Finishing up this side with two eyeshadow products. Let me pull them out and set this down because this thing is so darn noisy. But getting into the first one, the Stila Kitten eyeshadow, this stuff is awesome, but I seriously feel like it's gonna break again. It's like coming up around the sides, and I don't know, guys. It's already crumbled on me once, and I fixed it over on Instagram, and it actually didn't turn out that bad, but I love the color of this, so I'm seriously going to still try to work with it even if it breaks again, but I just very lightly sweep it across my lids, and I love the shimmer and just almost like that rosy gold color it gives. And then a lot of times I will pair that with like one of these colors in my crease from the CoverGirl Shimmering Sands palette, and I love this. I've had it for so long that yes, the lid has fallen off, but yeah, just two great, well, I guess one great drugstore option, one great high-end option, and two of my daily go-tos for sure. Alright, so we're finally to the middle section where I keep all of my powders and blushes, so let me go ahead and pull out the powders and I'll tell you about those. We just have got to start with my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in Sandstorm. I love this stuff. It's my favorite powder as far as high-end and drugstore is concerned. You guys can see that I've hit major pan on it, and I've had it quite some time, but I love it because it's slimly packaged, so it fits really well in that bin. But the only thing I'm going to say is that if you are traveling a lot, I don't think this little lid is going to be the greatest. Mine has even kind of cracked over probably the last couple years I've had it, but a great inexpensive powder if you're looking for something like that. Next up, you guys know that I love my Bare Minerals Broad Spectrum Concealer in Bisque. This is just has to be a staple for me. I love applying it very lightly under my eyes after concealer just for a very, very flawless look. I always find myself breaking that out. And then one more very, very funny thing. This is the L'Oreal True Match Powder in N6 Honey Beige, and as you guys can tell, it's very, very dark for me. I don't know, the camera and the lights might be washing it out a bit, but this is at least, I'd say, 2 or 3 shades darker, maybe even 3 or 4 than my actual skin tone. But I got this idea from Leanne Says because I actually use this as a bronzer, which is awesome, and it just seems to blend really well when you kind of just buy a darker face powder. So this is where the funny part comes in because I hardly ever wear bronzer anymore, like ever, but for some reason I keep this in my everyday makeup bin for this dang little mirror. Like, it's just so easy to get into. I always use it for like mascara and eyeliner and things, so that is the only reason this product is in there. And finally, we're on to blushes. Now, these are my top 3, guys, that I just love, and I have to keep them in here because if I'm wearing blush, it's literally probably only one of these 3. So the first one I want to tell you about is the Too Faced Sweethearts Perfect Flush Blush in Candy Glow. I mean, seriously, the packaging is what sold me on this, but I just seem to wear it all of the time. I feel like, especially for spring and summer, this is great. I am wearing it today, but it just has 3 strips of color. All of them are kind of shimmery, and they just remind me so much of summer, and these pink shades just seriously go with everything. And then, guys, seriously, like, my Japanese blushes have been attached to my hands, I feel like, these last few months. I originally fell in love with the Velvet Touch blush in 04 because I got this in Wisconsin when we were there for the Red series, I think like last August, and this is a perfect almost like berry wine color, and it seriously makes your like cheeks look airbrushed. I can't even explain it. When I put this on, it's just awesome, and I've just completely fallen in love with it, which is why I finally picked up my Japanese Velvet Touch blush in 01. Now, this is totally different than that one. They do have more in the line, but this is the only other colored version that really appealed to me. me, and it's kind of more on the cooler, pinkier side, but it also has some coral in there. So if you guys haven't tried Japanese blushes, like seriously do. I know when I picked them up, I hadn't heard anything about them. I just kind of went out on a limb and was like, hey, I'll give these a try, and I've seriously fallen in love. So guys, that is absolutely everything I keep in here. I'm super sorry if this video seems super long, but I really wanted to make sure I told you why I loved these products and why they're in here, because obviously they're in here for a reason. So please give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate when you do that. And if you guys keep anything like this, like an everyday makeup in or just your everyday products, I would love to hear what they are down below. So that's it for me today. I'm getting ready to head out to lunch because my belly is growling, but have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you next time.